So just a quick get started. Do you have any questions at all? Like something I can answer, something that didn't really make sense, anything I can go over before I jump into the projects for today?
No, actually, no any question for now.
Okay, cool. All right, so today we're gonna do something a little bit different. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the actual apps, like the finished product, and then we're gonna start from scratch and we're gonna code the whole thing. Now, I'm gonna do this without looking at the solution that was put in for the actual project or whatever. I'm gonna do it a little bit different. Um, I'm just gonna show you the process that I go through when someone like at for on a job, for example, if someone on a job asks you to like put some functionality in or to like make something work, I'm gonna show you like the thought process behind it, and you're gonna see me do it in real time. Um, let's just hope I don't mess up on the video.
It's cool.
Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna share my screen. So I'm gonna show the finished product first. So the two things that we're gonna go over, and actually let me reference it from the course. So this is the online course. The two things that we're gonna go over is the Mediation app and the memory game app. And we're gonna do these completely from scratch. We're gonna literally see how it functions, and then we're gonna try to go into the code and try to figure out how to make it work. So for the Mediation app, this is the Mediation app right here. Basically, whenever you press the start button, it gives you some direction. Breathe in when you see up, and breathe down when you see, breathe out when you see. Click to start. And you click it again, and then we see an up arrow. That means you're breathing in, down arrow, we're breathing out, up arrow, breathe in, down arrow, breathe out, so on and so forth. And it looks like it does this about 6 times. Okay, 7, and then 8. Okay, and then it goes back to the start screen. So if someone showed me that at work, what I would do, let me go to the actual code. I think the code's over here. So for the Mediation app, that code is inside of mediation.js. Right now it's an empty file. If someone gave me this and say, hey, make this work, these are the steps I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna open this up in the browser. So copy path, and I'm gonna open it up right next to it, the code that's not complete. So if I open this up and go all the way down to Mediation, if we hit start, obviously nothing happens here. So I'm going to first open up the dev tools because I want to be able to inspect this and see exactly what's going on here. So let me open this up. If I click this, I can see from here, this top corner here, that we got a few errors right there. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the console so that we can see what those errors are. So literally every time I click this picture, no matter, let me see, if I click the actual picture, nothing happens. But if I click the start button, we start getting the errors. And it says mediation start BTN is not defined. And this is inside of index.js on line 352. Yeah. So I'm gonna click this. So mediation start button, I'm gonna click that. And now I'm landing inside of the HTML part. And I can see, I'm gonna zoom out, I can see that it says mediation start BTN right here. And this is the line 252, the same one. So now I know that, this is not defined. Whenever you see something is not defined, that literally means that we have not created the function yet. So if I literally go back to the code, let me go to code here, and I'm gonna search for mediation start button. The only reference to that is inside of the HTML file. So obviously we have to create that that function. And if I go to the HTML file, we can see it here. And just to make sure mediation.js is linked to the HTML file, we can go ahead and check And I see it here, mediation.js is right here. And we can see that it also have access to this util.js file. So I'm gonna just make note of that in my head. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna literally just create the function. I want to see if this is actually gonna work. So I'm just gonna do a console log. This is what I always do. I'll console log out hey or something like that. I'm gonna go to the browser. I'm gonna just do a refresh and back to the console. First of all, I see this error, the one that I meant to correct, the one from last week, OOP helper, let me see, file not defined. Let me just create that file here just so we can get rid of that error. So OOP helper.js, just to get rid of that. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm gonna close this out. Go back, I'm gonna open up show projects, go down to here and press start, and hey prints out. Wow. So we got rid of that first error. Let me zoom back out of here, zoom in here. We got rid of that first error. Okay, cool. So on the completed version, I'm gonna go to the complete version. If I click this, then this next screen pops up here. It says breathe in when you see up and breathe out when you see down. So my thought is, let me inspect this and try to figure out how this is even happening. I'm just going to look at the HTML first. So just by looking at the HTML, I can see that if I open this up, it says that text right there. But I'm also noticing that I see start right here inside of the HTML, but it's not showing on the screen. So I see this start, and I'm wondering where this is at. Even just me hovering over it means that, and not seeing a highlight on the screen means that it's literally not there. If I go over this one, we can see that highlights. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna try to figure out why this is not on the screen. My first thought is to look at the CSS, because the CSS controls the appearance. So I'm gonna scroll down, and I can already see that we're using display none, exactly. And that comes from giving this a class of display none. We can see that right there. So what we can conclude is, whenever we press this button, we need to give this HTML element, the start button HTML element, the class of display none. So I'm gonna do that in the code. So first thing I have to do, actually, let me just paste that there and comment it out. But the first thing I have to do is to get an HTML element. So I'm just going to say ELE. And I know I have access to the util.
Yes, okay.
So let me just get by ID really quick. And the ID that I have to get is mediation start. That's this one here. And actually, I'm gonna name this so that, you know, we can it'll like make more sense. See, so now that we got that HTML element, we can give it a class. From last time, we found that out by you know, we can use class list basically to give it a class, and I'm gonna give it this class of display none here. So now we're gonna test it out. Come here, do a refresh, open this up. And if I hit start.
So is it not the class list dot add?
Yeah, add, exactly. There we go. Okay. Dot add. Yep. Yep. All right, cool. So go down to here, and that works. The other thing is that, you know, the other two screens aren't showing. So now I can also see from here that, you know, this image is not showing as well. So let me try to figure out which HTML element is this image, and we can see that it has an ID of mediation app. So if I go here and go to mediation app, see mediation app. Okay. So this actually has a background image. That's what it looks like. And the thing that's actually showing, which is this, it looks like that's probably on top of it. But just to test that out, I'm gonna just do a position relative, and I'm going to move it a little bit just to make sure, this is accurate. So if I move this down from the top, I can see that the picture is definitely under there. So that means that we don't have to do anything with that. The only thing we have to do is try to figure out what's happening here. What is this? This is a class of mediation directions. I'm gonna go back to the incomplete one and go to mediation directions. Where is that? Here. We can see that this actually has that class of display none. So what we have to do is remove that class of display none from this HTML element. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. This, and I'm gonna say get by ID, and then I'm gonna paste that in, and with this dot class list dot remove, and I'm just gonna remove this class here. I'm gonna test this out, and then we're gonna do some refactoring after this, because we definitely want to refactor as we go. Open this up, come down here, click this, and we have the directions. That's good. So I'm gonna go back to the code now, and I'm already seeing stuff that I need to refactor. So in programming, we have something called, do not repeat yourself. And we have these two strings that are the exact same strings. And to be honest, I can literally see myself working with strings this whole time. So what I'm literally going to do is I'm gonna create an object of strings. I'll just say mediation const, or let me say strings, and literally put this inside of an object. So these strings, I'm gonna give the key and value the exact same thing. So that and that, and I'm also going to use display here and mediation directions. Okay, cool. So now, instead of using this, I'm just going to say mediation strings dot mediation start. Same thing here for display none dot display none. Same here dot display none. And for this one, say mediation strings dot mediation directions. This is literally like how it looks whenever we actually like are coding. And to be honest, what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually refactor this a little bit more. Normally, constants are capitalized, so I'm literally going to capitalize this and kind of like shorten up. And actually, I'm gonna go by convention how this is supposed to be. So I'll say mediation underscore string. I mean, not string. Start. And then this is where we're going to put this one. That. So mediation directions. I'm going to put this string. And display underscore none. Put this here. And what I'm actually realizing is that all of these things are actually classes. So I can just say mediation class. I can say mediation class list. Class list. This is actually way more descriptive. So we'll actually redo this. This is mediation start. Here we have mediation class list, and then display none, mediation class list, and then mediation directions. And this is the same as this one. This is actually very standard here, the way we're doing it. And this is definitely an improvement on the actual code base already. I'm gonna just do a refresh just to make sure we didn't break anything. Hit start, and everything's good. Now, I also see another way we can refactor this and make this kind of like slim down a little bit more. I'm seeing here that I'm literally just adding a class, and here I'm removing a class. So what I can do is I can actually create another function that says, I'm gonna say toggle class. And what this function is going to do, it's going to take an element, and then it's going to take a class. Also, I'm just going to say CL, because if we actually use the word class, this actually is that. Oh, it's not reserved. Okay, we're going to say class like that. So inside of this, we'll actually toggle the class. So what we'll do is we will check to see has class. You say element has class. We're going to check if this element has the class. If it does have the class, we're going to remove it. And if it does not have the class, we're going to add it. And we're going to use this toggle class and here, and we're going to use it here as well. So the element has class. This is very standard. Something has something else. Like using this has word is very like descriptive. So to check if an element has a class, let me actually do some, I'm not sure the actual function. So I'm gonna just do a document.getElement by ID so I can get the actual the cheat codes from VS Code. If I grabbed an element and I wanted to check if it had a class, I'm gonna just type E dot and we get all of the properties and methods. I'm gonna just type class just to see what we have. Let me see. Class list. Let me see. Class list. Does this have anything? Contains. Okay. So this is how we can do it. Class list contains. I come down, it says returns true if token is present or false otherwise. So that this is what we're going to use actually. So we're gonna get the element and we're gonna see if it has the class. So I'm gonna say ELE dot has class. The class that we want to check is the actual class that we passed in. Let me remove this. Something is wrong here. So this arrow unexpected. So there's a syntax error somewhere. This is unexpected. How is this unexpected?
Or can you undo it to see?
Yeah, let me just copy it. Very odd.
I think we didn't use a document.getElement by ID.
Yeah, no, I think so. Let me just go back even further. So it looks like that error was there before we even typed anything. My guess is that there may be something wrong with VS Code because all we need is const, we need a name equals. We've got the parentheses here, we've got the arrow function, and then the curly brackets. The only thing, other thing I can check to see is if this is already created and it's not created anywhere. I'm gonna just hit save here, and I'm just gonna refresh the page just to see if there's any errors because it'll show here. Okay, unexpected token. There's a extra parentheses. Okay, it's because I used the actual this. It's because I used this as like. This is a reserved keyword. Yeah, this is reserved. So I'm gonna just see CL. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, class in JavaScript is looking for something like this. Let me see. Is it that? I don't know. It's looking for something else. It's not looking for what we were trying to use it for, but it's a reserved keyword. So we're just gonna say CL. Or actually, let me get into the mode of using class name, because when we get to React, this is how we're going to reference it, class name. So this is how we check to see if it has a class. So if element has class, what we're going to do is we're going to add the class, else we're going to remove it. So I'm going to do something like this, where we do element dot class list dot add. Wait, if it has the class, we want to remove it. So if it does not have it, we're going to add it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add this class here. And if it does have the class, we're going to remove it. Remove class name. Let's test this out, see if this works, and then we're going to refactor from here again. Just to like, we're going to keep refactoring until until we have it. So that's the element, and this is the class here. And I'm gonna copy this down, and the other one is this element here. And this is the class for the other one, display none. Okay, we're just literally toggling the same class. All right. So I'm just gonna remove this, delete that, and I'm just gonna save it just to see if this works. Just do a refresh. Click here and click start, and it works. So now we're about to refactor again. This is what we do. So the thing that I'm seeing is this here that needs to be refactored. We literally have an if-else statement, and we have one thing inside of it. And normally when we have that, we use those, we use the, what's this called? I forgot the name of this.
Ternary operator.
Ternary. Exactly. Ternary. So this is what we're gonna do. And this. Cool. So if it has the class, we're gonna do this. If it does not have the class, we're gonna do that. So let's delete this. Save it. Go back, refresh. Okay, click this. Okay, it still works. Now, yeah, this is fine. We're gonna further refactor this later on. Actually, let's just do it now. Let's move this. This is a very general function. We're gonna move that to util. Here, toggle class. We want to be able to use this in a bunch of other files as well. And we're actually gonna remove. Let me see. We're actually gonna we're gonna put this somewhere else as well. And for that, I'm gonna deviate from the course, and I'm just gonna say constants. I'm gonna create a file named constants, or just const.js. This is very standard as well. So anything that has a constant, we're gonna put it there. So I'm literally gonna move this whole thing over here, save that, save that, save this, and also I have to add this now to the HTML file. So I'm gonna put that under the util. And I'll say const, and we'll say const.js. So now everything should be linked. Let's test it to see if this works. Refresh. But that still works. Cool. So, all right, I'm gonna X this out. I'm gonna keep this open. I'm gonna keep that open and this one as well. All right, cool. So now inside of Mediation.js, we can see that we slimmed all that code down to only 4 lines. And to be honest, like having it separated like this is like really good. It's a good thing. And one more refactor actually. But I'm gonna say what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put this in capital letters as well, like because that's, to be honest, like that's actually pretty like even more standard. So mediation class underscore list. Put that here. Let's clean this up, and let's replace these with that. Cool. Go back, refresh. Let's make sure this works. Yes, that works. Okay, cool. All right. So this is good. The way we have this organized now. So I'm gonna go back to the finish one, and let me just do a refresh so we can just get rid of all of that. Let's see what happens again. So I'm gonna click this, then I'm gonna click this again, After I click that, this whole like, thing starts to happen with this up arrow and down arrow stuff. But the immediate thing that I notice is that this text goes away. Breathe in when you see up, breathe out when you see down. And that's because we gave it a class name of display none. So let's go back here and let's actually get that done. If I click this, we see the error. Mediation start is not a function. And obviously it's the exact same situation as before, where it's defined inside of the HTML, but not inside of the JavaScript. If I do this, I can see that the reference is here, just on click right here. And that's why it was why we're getting an error. So let me do this. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to console log hey, just to make sure I got everything right. Refresh. Here. Cannot read property of undefined. Cannot read property of undefined. Reading contains. Okay, I see. All right. So when we click this, let me see. Util. One moment. Let me go on mute really quick. 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. So it's my fault. So let me share my screen again. All right, cool. So this says, hey, so we were getting an error. This is good because we get to see the stuff like in real time, like the stuff we kind of like go through as developers. Let me move this out of the way. So util.js 30. So I'm gonna click this, and this is where we're getting an error. All right, so my thought is let's put a debugger right here just to see what's going on. So I'm gonna click this and we stop there. So we have element. Element says console.log hey. That is very odd. And it's trying, so we're passing in a function here, it looks like. So let me try to figure out why we're passing in that function to begin with. Let me go a little further. I know we're using class name inside of the mediation JavaScript file. So I'm open that up. And okay, I see what's going on.
We're using the same class for the same function, right?
Right, exactly. So I messed something up here. So mediation start, this was the actual element. And we moved that code. We never actually got the element. I think I deleted that part. Let me just comment this out first. And let me pass in those elements. Let's see, constant, mediation start. I'm gonna just say element just to have a different name than this. Because what was happening was that we were passing this in, which is very funny. I don't even know how we even messed this part up. Get by ID. Let's just what was it? We have the ID. Do we have the IDs? No, we don't. So I'm gonna get by ID, and I'm gonna do a little shortcut here just to mediation ID list as well. So I'm literally going to copy all of the IDs that we need so far. We need this one, this one. So this ID we need, and yeah, we can just keep it like that, mediation start. And so what ID we need? We need this ID as well, mediation directions. So this is mediation directions. Why are we? Wait, okay, all right. So I'm noticing that I definitely named this the wrong way. These two are IDs, and display none is a class. So this is how it should be here actually. So these are the classes and these are the IDs. So we're gonna use this, get by ID, this dot mediation start here. And we're gonna get the directions as well. Directions, this one, mediation, directions. Okay, cool. We're gonna pass in this element into here, and we're gonna pass this element into this one here. And we're probably, actually, I won't refactor past it. I was literally gonna just stuff this whole thing inside of here, but that would be a little bit too unreadable. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see what happens here. Just do a refresh. And actually, let me just comment this back in just for the sake of time, because I know that this is not going to give us an error this time around. Cool. Just do a refresh again, open this up. Okay, so errors. I click this, it says, hey, okay, perfect, everything works. All right, so this is here, and we know that we need to toggle those directions again. So we literally need to run this code here inside of here. We're going to get the directions, and then we're going to toggle this display none here, this display none class. So go back, refresh this, copy. Okay, all right, cool. So all right, that works. So now we're back to this screen. When we get back to that screen, those arrows start to like pop up, basically. So let me just look at this to make sure there's nothing I need to clean up. I think everything looks pretty good. All right, cool. Let's go back to the finished copy. I'm going to open this up a little bit so we can see what happens inside of the HTML. Click this, display none goes away. This one gets added. We click this again. All right, cool. So we can see inside of the HTML the changes that happen. So what we're basically doing is we're adding this display none back and forth from these. Like we're removing it and we're adding it back from both of these. Let me see what happens after it finishes. Okay, so both of them right now have a class of display none. So now what we know is that we have to actually do the exact same thing for these two things. So I'm gonna copy this ID and I'm gonna put that inside of here, the ID list. That's that ID. Let's breathe in, breathe. Let's put it in. Okay. And we're gonna do a yeah. So, and we're going to do a breathe out as well. Breathe out. And it was breathe out for the other one. So what we know is that this thing kind of happens continuously for a little bit. So, and it looked like it happened 4 times. Like there were like 4 breathe-ins, basically. So what we know is that we have to actually create a function that animates those breathe in, breathe out things. So animate mediation. I don't know. Animate mediation. I don't know. Something like that works. As you can see, I'm trying to like separate different functionalities into different functions. That's how we have to code here, and that's how we keep it clean. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a constant. I'm gonna create a constant with let, and I'll just name that count, and I'll say 8 for now. So I know that we do something 8 times. There's 4 breathe-ins and there's 4 breathe-outs. So, and I also know that there is like an increment in time for each of them. Maybe there's like 3 seconds in between each thing. So when I'm thinking about that, the first thing I think about is like creating a loop in some kind of way. There's some type of loop going on, and then it maybe stops. So I'm gonna just create a for loop really quick. I want to say for I equals, start at 0, we'll say I less than or equal to count. Actually, I is less than count, so we can do something 8 times. And then I plus plus. Let me just console log hey, just to make sure we actually have 8 things that's logging out here. Here, just do a refresh. Why is it still not? Oh wait, that's the other one. Do a refresh. This is that copy. So click this. This is the unfinished one. Start, click this, and nothing happens. Okay.
You have not called the function.
Yeah, we didn't call the function. Exactly. So do this, call that function. Let's see what happens. Do a refresh. Scroll down. Okay, cool. 8 hays printed out. That's good. Now I know that there has to be some type of delay in between each of these hays. So I'm gonna just create a actually I'm gonna put this as const because I'm not actually changing this right now. But the delay, I'll just say 1 second for now because I'll say half a second for now because I wanna see this happen like as quick as possible, and I'll adjust the delay a little bit later. So it's gonna be half a second. And inside of here, in order to delay something, we can do a set timeout. We can pass in some function. I'm just going to put f in for now. And then I'll pass in an amount to delay it. And this is not going to work right away because let me just show you really quick. What I'm going to do is say, hey, right here. Right. This is not going to work right away, but I'll get to like fixing it in a little bit. Just make sure this works. Click start and click this, and then literally it delayed half a second and then logged all those things at the same time. But I know that I have to delay each one of these by this amount of seconds. So anytime, basically, when we iterated over this loop, it iterates pretty much instantaneously. And then because it's pretty much iterating like instantly, every instance of this is delayed for 5 seconds. It may be like, half a second. It may be like half a second and like this, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So we have to increment this. That's more of the story. Exactly. So here, we'll just do a plus equal 500. Every time we exit this, every time we get to the end of this loop, we're going to increment that by another half a second, just to separate those out a little bit. So it'll be half a second, and then a minute, and then a minute and a half, and then 2 seconds, so on and so forth. Okay, assignment to constant variable, mediation 8. That's why we use these things. So mediation 8, this is constant. Let's change that to let. The reason it did that is because of this line here. We try to reassign a constant when we can't do that. So yeah, let me go back, refresh, show projects, come down here, click this, and click this again. Okay, it looks like it's working this time around. And we've incremented that. So this works here. This part right here works. Something I want to refactor out. I'm using this is this 500 here. Like it's not actually I'll let me think about this. Actually, I'll keep it like this for now. I was gonna refactor that out and put it inside of const.js, but I feel like that might be a little bit of overkill. But I'm gonna just leave it as 500 for now, and then later on, actually, let me put that here. I'll say mediation constants or something. Mediation constant, because it's really not good to use. It's not good to use the numbers like that. In programming, we call it magic numbers. Whenever you see just like a number out there, because it's almost like it's been put there by magic. Like what are we actually using this for? There's no like real description on why we're using it. So we'll replace this with a constant. We'll say mediation const dot delay, so that we know that this is linked, that this number is actually a delay. That's what that is. And we'll leave count like it is for now, because we're only using it once. And to be honest, we can actually, let's say, yeah, we can keep count here. We're using it once. So there's no need to like put that, separate that out. So this, let's make sure this still works. Just make sure I didn't break anything. Did I save this? Yeah, I did. Let's refresh. Open this up. Come down here. Okay, toggle projects, not, what is this? Index 35. What is this? Oh, I think I probably, wait, what? I don't know what is happening. Toggle projects not defined. Well, let me just refresh this. I think maybe something's wrong here. Okay. All right. You know what happened? I think I refreshed it and clicked this button before it was able to read the HTML for the toggle projects button. I think that's really what it was. The HTML loaded before the JavaScript. Yeah, now we're not getting an error. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Click this. Okay, so this works. All right, cool. So we saw before that we were toggling the let me put this over here. We were toggling this display none class. The first thing we want to show is breathe in. So we'll toggle that class for the breathe in, and then we'll toggle for both of them moving forward from there. So what I'm going to do is I'll say, put an if statement here. If I equals 0, what we're going to do is we'll say we'll toggle for, I'm just going to say toggle for in, or breathe in, breathe in, toggle for breathe in. Else we're going to toggle for both. Toggle for breathe in and toggle for breathe out. That display none class. So let me just make sure that this logic works before we go any further. And this is very standard, just like testing your code out as you go. So toggle for breathe in. Okay. So now that works. We're just going to toggle for breathe in first, and then toggle for the rest of them, the remaining. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing here, really. First, I'll get element. I'll get the element for breathe in. Let's say breathe in mediation.id list dot breathe in, because we put it there. And then I'll say, okay, take that out. So we got the element. Now we have to toggle the class. Put that here. We can see how easy this gets whenever we break all this code up the way we do. So we pass in the element, and we pass in the class that we want to toggle, this one here. So it literally becomes a copy and paste whenever you organize your code. And this one, we're actually going to toggle both. So we'll toggle the in and we'll toggle the out. Breathe out. And we'll do breathe out here, right there. And we'll toggle the display none class for that one. Let's see if this works. And then I'll come back to see if there's any room to like refactor, because this is becoming like a lot. We generally want to keep functions under 20 lines just as best practice. But if we can get the closer we can get this, like the smaller we can get this, the better, because the smaller means that it's easier to debug for somebody else in case it breaks in the future, or in case somebody else wants to read your code. It's just easier to read with smaller chunks. I'll click this. I'm gonna click this again. Okay. So that does not work. Something is wrong here. So we toggle, did we get any errors? No doubt. Let's see what's going on. So we hit this one first and we're showing breathe in, right? And then the next time around, we come back, we get inside of this set timeout, and then what we'll do is come inside of this else statement instead, because I is not 0 anymore. We'll toggle this for breathe in. It looks like this display none class, and then we're toggling the display out for this one. That's where it was at. that's where the bug was at. So yeah, it's good to just kind of like go through your code and like mentally get like a grasp of it. So let's refresh this. We were using the wrong variable the first time around. Show projects. You have a question or you're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Start and click this again. Okay, cool. So now it's working as expected. Let me actually refactor. And the last thing we have to do is go back to the start button after this finishes. But let me refactor really quick. I kind of feel like this is like a little bit too much. So since I know that this set timeout takes a function, I'm just going to actually take this whole thing out and I'll put this into a function and I'll name that function
FN, right?
I'm sorry.
FN. FN.
Have what? I'm sorry. I can't type it in the chat. I could not make out what you're saying. The internet is like a little bit on my. It may be on my side. You can type it in the chat. I actually noticed that I named this incorrectly. Animate. Let me fix that. Yeah. All right. But let me just name this. Let me see.
Okay, I'll call it toggle breathe in and breathe out.
Yeah, toggle. And I'm just gonna say toggle in and out, just to keep it. Just to keep it. Toggle in and out. All right, cool. Now this is inside of its own function, does its own thing. And I'm gonna paste. Oh wait, I did a little bit too much. I'm just gonna paste it here. Okay, cool. All right, this is much better. Now this is only 12 lines. And this got slimmed down a lot. This is clean code here. So I'm gonna go back to the browser, refresh. Let's make sure that still works. Yeah, this is the HTML loading before the CSS. I wonder how that happens. Let's do a refresh again. It may be my computer slowing down or something. Come down here. Something is wrong. All right, so I was definitely wrong here. Did I get an error? Yeah, we got 8 errors. So we didn't move something over right. I is not defined. Okay, cool. So I is being used inside of here and we didn't define it. So let's pass that in. Pass an I here. And how are we gonna do this? We can I'm gonna show something that's not good, or it's not necessarily bad to use. I think so with this bind method, we have properties that we can use on functions. Bind, let me say, for a given function creates a bound function that has the same body as the original function. This object of the bound function is associated with a specific object and has the specified initial parameters. So I'm going to bind it and I'm going to put inside of here the actual parameters. So see, an object to which the keyword can reference inside the new function. So I'm gonna put I here. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pass I to this function whenever we're ready to use the function. Since we can't just call it like that. We have to pass it a function. So I'm gonna bind it with parameters already defined. And let me actually put a debugger here because I want to make sure that this actually works. I haven't used bind in a long time, but I guess it's useful. Let's see. I didn't even show this in the course. So this is I don't think I showed that in the course. So we hit the debugger. I still not defined. Okay, let's try to use apply. I think apply is the other one. Bind is not it. Maybe it's apply. Let's see. Cause a function, substitute specify parameters for the value in the function, and specify array for the arguments of the function. See, the object has to be used at. Let's try this really quick. I don't have time to look at read those definitions. Let me just refresh this and see if it works. If this don't work, we just gonna have to put that function back in there. Or actually no. We'll use one of those and we'll figure out why it's breaking. That's actually better. I still not define. Okay, cool, perfect. That's fine. You have some you know why or
no, but can't we define declare I from the function, toggle in and out, like let I equals to 0. No.
Yeah, but the I is actually that's outside of the function though. It comes from this the for loop. So that's the so we can't put it in there. So what I'm gonna do actually, I'm going to do some research really quick. So what a quick fix for this will literally to put a global variable outside, some global variable here, some I reference or whatever, and then just reference this. We change it over here and we reference it from this function here. But that's a little sloppy. I don't want extra code hanging out. So I'm gonna figure out why my code wasn't working. So I'll say JavaScript bind parameters to function. Let's just type that in and see what happens. Okay, function.bind. Okay, let's just see some examples of how it's used. All right, cool. So we have module. We have, let's see. We have this dot bind module. This is not how we're using it. We're using it with the actual function. Let's see if there's any other examples. A function here, okay. This function is log. So we got log dot bind. It passed it a few variables, it looked like. They're also not using the arrow function. Let me just test this out. This is what I normally do. Let me just paste it in here and see something. It looks like they set it to a variable first. So if I do this, let me just call this. That's not defined. What's that? Let me put this. It's not defined. It's right there. It's maybe the dev tool is doing something that's unexpected. But I'm gonna paste this code here. Let's get rid of that. Clean this up. I'm gonna put a debugger here just to see what happens. Just do a refresh of this. Hit play, refresh. Cool. Debugger, all right. So we have, what's going on? Why is it doing that? Okay. We got this. We set that to the function. What should happen is we should go inside of this function next. Are we going inside of here? We hit play. Okay, we did hit this function next because we set it equal to it. And the arguments are here. So this is an array, it looks like. So, all right, cool. So that actually worked. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this, let me go to the console, make sure. Okay, so we logged that. All right, cool. Let me take away this debugger, and I'll just log args by itself. I'm not even gonna log this. I'm just gonna log args just to make sure this still works. Refresh, and we have 1 right there. Okay. 1 logged to the console. Let's see if we do this. Spread operator, is this? Let me just make sure. Okay. All right. So this is the problem. So this first variable is not actually is not used. This is almost like the event, if inside of like an event function. I think this is the same concept. The only 2 things that we can see are these last 2 here. Let me actually turn this to an arrow function to make sure it still works, and then I'll go back to the documentation to just further look at this to see what's going on. Let me refresh this. It still works with the arrow function. All right, cool. So let's go back here, and it looks like, okay, when it was logging this, maybe that was the actual first parameter. Let's just be sure. Actually, let's do a console log of this. Let's see what happens here. That's just my guess. Yeah, it looks like that is what happened. So I'm gonna refresh. So what did they do here? They did, okay, the context of this changes whenever this is an arrow function. So yeah, this is why it's good to know about
this keyword doesn't apply to arrow function.
Right. Let me refresh this. I think that was the problem. Yeah, okay, that was definitely the problem. Okay, cool. So we can conclude that we can actually use this, but when we use it, we have to pass it like a dummy variable or whatever first, like this. And we also have to use the spread operator to take out this reference to I from here. And we'll keep that debugger here as well. So this is what this keyword is going to be. Let me just delete this stuff. Sometimes we have to like fill in these extra parameters just to get our code working. Do this. Okay, what's this? Create list from array. Like, okay, so that spread operator thing. This is not working here. Let me just put I by itself. See what happens. Down here. Okay, create list from array like. That's mediation 19. Let me just be sure. Mediation 19 here. This is very odd. Actually, just for sake of time, since it's already 11:10 and we have to take a break, I'm literally just gonna do the I ref like I was gonna do before. I ref, that's just, we're not gonna give it any value right now, and we're just gonna reference this I here. And we're gonna change it every time we go through this loop. And that's we don't have to use any of this stuff. Sometimes the good thing about having multiple ways of doing the same thing is that, yeah, you can always find a solution some kind of way, even though this is not the cleanest, it really isn't. Let me just refresh this. I went right past it. Okay. There is something wrong here. All right, so that I reference, okay, this I reference is a problem now. What I'm thinking is happening is this is probably changing too fast, because we do have it instead of a set timeout. To be honest, like, let's just put this whole thing back in there. I'm just literally just gonna dump this whole thing back inside here because this is giving us too many issues. Sometimes it's just better to just know when you're like defeated. I'm definitely defeated with this one. Let's just keep it just like that, how we had it initially. Let's refresh, make sure we didn't mess something up. Oh, actually, did we mess something up? Yeah, we did. Let's not say IREF. Let's get rid of that. Let's take this out. Yeah, I admit defeat. I will not try to force that. Cool. All right. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on there. Those set timeouts, those for loops, resetting a variable. And that's why I didn't want to do it in the first place, because it really wasn't the cleanest. So it's 11:12 right now. What we're gonna do is we'll take a 15-minute break. We'll come back. Actually, we'll come back at 11:30.
11:30, right?
Yeah, and then we'll finish up this app. And then from there, we'll start the memory game app. And then the memory game app, I want you to finish on Tuesday, actually. So, all right, I'll see you back at 11:30.
All right. Thanks.
We'll get started in another minute and a half. It's like 11:28 right now. Let me fix the time on my computer. Wow.
All right.
While we are waiting. All right. Let's fix this time. All right, cool. So fix the date and time on my computer. None of that's correct. Let me go back to share my screen. We'll just finish out this app really quick, and then we'll start our memory game. All right, cool. So this is where we left off. The arrow was down. What we have to do at this point, whenever this finishes, is get rid of the breathe out one, and what's it called? Get rid of the breathe out and put the start button back. So we know that we're going through this for loop here. After we come out of this for loop, we need to do another set timeout in order to get rid of the in order to restart the game. So I'll just say like restart here, restart, just to make sure that this works. And I'll put this delay. This should delay it. This should delay another 500 milliseconds, or half a second, since the very last time we go through this, we increment the delay anyway. So I'm just going to use what we already have. Go back. Let me just make sure that this actually works as expected. Okay, cool. So it works as expected. So what we want to do here is we want to reset the game. So I'll put that into a different function. Say reset, not game, reset the mediation, reset mediation app, like that. And we'll just call this function here instead of putting the arrow function like that. And inside of here, what we want to do is this. We want to remove the breathe out part. And we want to also toggle the start as well, this one here. I'm already seeing room for refactoring also, by the way. Those are a lot of stuff. Hold on, get element by ID, the start button, and then we want to, this one, we want to toggle the display none again so that we can show it on the screen. Right now it's not there because it has that display none class. Let me see if this works. And if this does work, we're going to refactor that a little bit more. Refresh. Cool. Open this up. Let's see if this works. All right, cool. That works. And every time it works again, just the same. And I'm gonna just make sure that this actually works. Okay, cool. That's good. So everything works. Obviously, we got to change the delay to a little bit more, but first we're gonna refactor this. I'm doing a lot of the same things over and over again. I'm literally running this same line here, and I may be over like refactoring this, but I just want to show it just for the sake of like showing it. And it may actually be helpful. Sometimes you're going to see code on a job where you literally go into a function to go into another function to do something. And as as time consuming as that sounds, it actually does help to just separate it like that, because you don't have to go into every single function to figure out what's wrong with the function. Like, let's say there was a bug, you don't have to go into every single function to see what's wrong with a function. If the function does exactly what you say is doing. So
I've came across some kind of question or function like that, like in MVC framework.
So you said in MVC,
like Laravel MVC, Laravel framework. I mean,
yeah.
So it's from one function to another function to another function. So
yeah, exactly. And that's what we're trying to like really build. We're trying to like try code as standard as possible. So what I'm gonna do is I'll say, so right here, this one toggles the breathe in. So that's literally what I'm gonna name this: toggle breathe in. That's what that's gonna do. And literally every time I use this combination here, I'm just gonna call toggle breathe in, and that's what's gonna with that this is gonna take care of that one functionality. So let me do that, and I'll do the same thing for toggle breathe out. Just to keep it on one function, toggle breathe out, and we'll do this inside of that. Yeah, let's just do that. Breathe out. We have breathe out here. All right, cool. So let me just do these replacements. So toggle breathe in, we want to replace any reference to that. So that's these ones here. So we'll replace this with that, and this with that as well. All right, cool. Did we reference this anywhere else? Let's see. Scroll down. Okay, nothing else highlights. All right, so now we'll do the toggle breathe out wherever this is referenced, and that is referenced here. So we'll get rid of this like that. And this is also referenced down here. You can see I'm highlighting just to like find it on the page. Let's see if there's anywhere else. I don't see anything else highlighted. Okay, cool. So these are in their own functions. All right, cool. So now we can literally read this a little bit easier. So animate means, toggle breathe in the first time around, and then toggle breathe in and toggle breathe out the remaining of them. So that's that. Let's see if we're doing anything else. We have this here as well, this mediation start. So I'll have that as a function as well. Say toggle, I'll do toggle mediation, outside toggle start button. All right, yeah, toggle start button. And we'll use this here instead. Toggle start button, toggle start button. We'll paste it here. So this toggles the start button here. Put those, and also let's see, it's down here. So we'll replace this. Hold on. This, yeah, we'll replace that with this. So we'll remove this whole thing and this line right here. So that does that. And we use this multiple times as well. So I'll say toggle directions. Yeah, toggle directions. Toggle directions. And I'll put this code inside of there. Actually, let me just replace that really quick. Toggle directions. And I'll put that in here. All right, cool. Toggle directions, and we'll put that here as well because we're using it down here. Replace this with that. Cool. So now stuff is more readable. So we're toggling the directions here, and we're animating the animate mediation. Toggle start button, toggle directions. It's literally very readable now. And all of these functions do one thing, and they're very small as well. And that even decreased the size of this one as well. This was 20 lines. Now it's now it's a little less. It's like 13 lines now. So this helps out a lot. Let me just go back, make sure I didn't break anything, and then look to see if there's any other room to refactor before we move on to memory game. And actually, yeah, before we move on to memory game. So down here, this. All right, cool. All right, so that works. Let's make sure there's nothing else. I'm like looking at this because like I want to like refactor this some kind of way, but I'm not even, I think I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna just leave it like this. This is fine. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole memory app. And the only other thing we have to do is just to change the delay. I think it was like, let me just put like a second. Actually, let's put like 3. I don't know if it was like 2 seconds or 3. I have no clue. We'll put 2 seconds.
2 seconds, okay.
Yeah. So, see, we already ran into an issue. When we clicked it, it took 2 seconds to run.
Oh.
So we have to change this to 0 at first, no delay at first. That was the problem the first time we ran it. Yes, that, yeah, perfect. It was probably 3 seconds, honestly, but it's fine. Like that, we got the gist of of how to make this app and start. All right, cool, perfect. All right, so we successfully made that, and I'm sure this is way different than the code in the course. But like I always say, you know, there's a bunch of different ways to do the same thing. And this is like the way we just did it here. I actually prefer this way over the way we did it in the actual finished copy. So here we took up, what was it, 52 lines. Let me see if we improved on the lines. This is the finished code here. Mediation JS. How many lines did we take up? 52, it's the same. Did we, hold on. Okay, it's the same amount of lines. Oh, so we kept this in here, that's why. So this would have took up less lines, but let me see. It looks just as readable, actually, if not more readable, to be honest. But like I said, you know, this is a way for us to really like know how to do these things, different kinds of ways. All right, what time is it? 11:40. What we'll do now is the memory game. This memory game is actually kind of fun to do. Let me think about this because I feel like I might be jumping into something. So, we'll do the. Actually, let's do a Codewars problem. Actually, this is going to take some time to do that memory game. It really is going to take some time to do. We'll actually do this on Sunday, the memory game. Actually, we'll come back to this. We may actually do a different app, and this may be a take-home thing to do. But let's do a Codewars problem because you know we only have 20 minutes, and I want to use it. I'm gonna use it wisely. So I'm gonna train with JavaScript. Actually, let's go here to practice and sort by popularity. Language is JavaScript. JavaScript. Cool. Let's just pick some random whatever. Just scroll all the way to the bottom. Make a 10-minute walk. Take a 10-minute walk.
Take a 10-minute walk.
Take a 10-minute walk. Let's see what this is. I hate these very long, very long ones. Let me not do that. I don't want to. Let me see, shortest word. That sounds very, very simple. Let's see. Let's see this one. Oh, why is it checking Python? I put JavaScript. Is this still Python? Oh, it's JavaScript is one of them. Okay, cool. All right. Simple. Given a string of words, return the length of the shortest word. Okay, that's very simple. Actually, we'll just do it just because we're here. Oh, wait, oh no. Why did I just do that? I just went to the next one. Let's just do this. Return the shortest word. That's fine. Just to oh wait, train again. I did this one before. Let me not do one I already did before. Let me go down a little bit more. Did I do this one? 2 and 1. What is that? I mean, 2 to 1. What's that? All right. So we have. Oh, so we're just okay. All right. Let's see. Take 2 strings, S1 and S2, including only letters from A to Z. Return the new sorted string, the longest possible, containing distinct letters. Okay. Each taken only once. That's what the distinct means, and coming from S1 to S2. So if we put in 2 strings, we have to combine these 2 strings and then put them in order. But we can't duplicate the strings. This is a good one. Oh, we train again. I did this before. I don't even remember doing this. We'll just do this one just because it sounds fun to do. All right. So we take 2 strings, we combine them, and then put them in order. So we'll just start coding this out. I'll just code this here since we already have it open. I'll just say this times 2 arrow function. Clean this up. Cool. And the example was here. Let's put this down here. This was the example. So yeah, let's just keep this like this. Const A and const B. All right, cool. We got A and B. This should log this here. So I'm gonna just do. Yeah, this should log this here. All right. So there is a quick way to do this, and there's a long way to do this. I'm gonna explain the long way, and then I'll do it the quick way. The long way to do this is literally, actually, let's just do it out real quick. We'll do the long way, and then we'll do the short way after it. I think this is a good teaching thing here. So I'll just say combined string. I'll literally just combine them really quick. I'll combine both of these. I'll say S1 plus S2. This combines both of them. Put them into one string. Now we have to get rid of the duplicates, right? So we'll say const used letters. We have to keep some type of way to hold the used letters. And then we have to have some type of way of giving you back the answer. So I'll say answer here. The answer is going to contain no letters at all at first. And what we're going to do is we combine both of these strings into one string, and then we'll iterate, we'll loop over this. And then every time we have a letter, every time we come over, we run into a letter in the loop, we'll push it to this. We'll add it to this string, and we'll also add it to this array. But before we add it to this string here, we'll check to see if it's inside of the used letters. And I'll just do that really quick, just so that we can see that. This is the long way, by the way. So we'll say combined strings dot length. We're looping over this string here. And we'll do I plus plus, and we'll do if used letters dot includes, if it includes the combined string at the current index, that's going to be the letter that we're currently at, what we're going to do, if it includes it, if it does not include it, actually, is what we're looking for. If it does not include it, we want to add that letter to the answer. I'm gonna just name a letter here, but let me put this inside of a variable. I'm gonna add this letter, but this letter is going to be defined here as this. This is the letter. Here. Cool. Save this, and then after, so basically, we're only adding the letter if it is not inside, if it is not inside of this used letters. After we add it there, we want to push it. We want to push this letter in there so that we can't use it anymore. So every time we check it, we won't be able to use it. So we have used letters. Okay, cool. We have the answer here. We combine both strings. We're looping over the combination of both of these strings. Every time we get to a different index, we get to a different letter in that string. We save that inside of the variable here. Then we check to see if that letter is already inside of the used letters array here. And if it's not inside of it, we'll add that letter to the answer here. And then we'll push that letter inside of this array so that when we check it again, we don't like run into that issue again. And then what we'll return actually is the answer sorted. There should be like a sort method on strings. Is there a sort method? Let's see. Let's do a quick search. String sort method. So for JavaScript. It's probably not. I probably gotta do something a little bit different. How to sort strings in JavaScript. Here we go. Yeah, so there's a, hold on, where's the answer? Yeah, there's a dot sort here. String to local comparer. You have a list. What's this doing? Local comparer, the attribute. What's the best way to sort this? It's 1151. I'm getting this mixed up with Python. I thought that we could just sort it. All right, so let me just actually, what we'll do is we'll say JavaScript sort, because I think the way we do this with numbers is the same as how we do this with letters. Array sort. Okay, we can sort an array. All right, so this is what we'll do. We'll sort it inside of the array. So instead of adding it here, we'll sort it. I mean, we'll push it inside. Instead of adding that, we'll push that. Push in there. Okay, cool. And then here, we'll sort the array. And after we sort the array, we'll join the array with nothing. So it's going to sort it first, and then it's going to join all of the things inside of the array with nothing in between. And I think this should work. Let me refresh the page to see what logs to the console. Just to finish. Yeah. Is it this one? Which one is finished? I'm not even sure. Oh, this is the complete one. Okay. Let me just X that out. This is the starter one. All right, cool. Did we not call the function? Oh, we didn't log it. We didn't log anything. Let's do a console log. That was the problem. Console log. Put this in here. Cool. Save that. Let's refresh. All right, cool. So it's sorted, basically. Everything is sorted, and there's no duplicates inside of here. So it's 11:52, but we'll do the quick way really quick. And that requires me to actually do a quick to teach about something called a set. So a set obviously is an object that has to have unique values. So what we'll do actually is a set has unique values. You can't put the same value inside of a set. That is the quickest way to get rid of duplicates, is to use a set. So we'll use a set to get rid of the duplicates. that means that we will be able to get rid of this code here and all of this code here, because all that does, right? Yeah, because all that does is, go ahead.
Can you send this code on the Slack?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna send that Slack. Yeah. I'm just gonna comment. Yeah, let me
sure.
I'll comment this out just so you have it. And we'll use the quick way really quick. So I'm gonna use a set. Let me click into this and we'll figure out how this works really quick. Just get an example. So this is how we create a set, my set. So we'll just copy that and we'll paste that down here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna just name this letters. Did I name this? I didn't use that. Okay, I'll just name that letters. All right, cool. And to add to a set, we use the add method. So what we'll do is we'll do letters. We'll loop over this, actually. We'll keep that the same. So I'm gonna delete this. And then we'll do letters dot add, and we'll add the letter. I should have kept this first part here. We'll add this letter inside of there. And this is going to remove all duplicates. So we don't need that anymore. All right, so now we have letter in there. Now so we have all this inside of, let me actually log this out, because I want you to see letters. I want you to see that it has no duplicates in there. But it's still going to be a what's it called, a set, but we're going to do this step by step. Just do a refresh here, and we can see that this is a set and it has 15 letters. None of these letters are duplicates because we can't physically push the same letter inside of a set. Now what we have to do is figure out how to sort it. I think we should be able to sort with a set. So JavaScript. Actually, let's actually figure this out from here. Letters. Let's see what kind of methods it has. We have something like sort. It does not have a sort. Let me see. Do we have like a to array or something like that? See, no, we don't have that. So JavaScript sort set. Let's see where it shows up. How to sort a set in JavaScript? Let's see. Because we want to sort it and then we want to put it back into a string. That is not a set. This is a set. We add stuff inside of there. Okay, push. Okay, so it has a sort method. Why didn't it say the array? Hold on. The set is here, my set. We have my set here. Okay, we have my array. That's a whole nother thing. And then we're looping over and we're pushing all of the elements inside of the set into the array, and then we're sorting the array. Okay. So that's what we'll just do that same thing, honestly. We have the letters. Now we'll do letters. Do we have a for each? Yeah, letters dot for each. And for each thing inside of that, for each letter, we'll do answer dot push the individual letter. Just say letter like that. Okay. Looping over letters and pushing all the letters in there. Let's see if I did that correctly. Let's say answers. Let's see if answers has those things inside of there. Let's just do a refresh here. And yes, so answers, that worked. Now we can just sort that and then do the join just like we did before. So I can literally just like do the same thing here. Like that. And is anything not being used? I think this is good. We go back, refresh, and we get the same thing we got last time. So we went from, let's compare these. This is, let's see, 50. So this is 12 lines here. This is 10 lines, actually. Wait, is this more? Wait, that's not. wait, 69, that's, yeah, so this is less. So this is less lines by doing it this way. Yeah, so both solutions will get you the same thing, but this is less lines by 2, which is still an improvement on it just by using a set. And we'll just return that actually so that we can test that out inside of Codewars. Return here. Let's test it. Let's attempt, get a little bit more, and we pass everything. Perfect. All right, cool. So let me give you this code before I forget. Let's throw this out of Slack. Any questions on this before we end? All right, cool. Was this helpful? Like I really tried to like show like best practices and stuff like that, and even try to like, you know.
Yeah, it was really helpful. So I think I just have to go through the code once again here on my own end. Yeah.
Cool.
So
this is good. All right, cool. So that worked. All right, cool. All right, so on Tuesday, what I want is for y'all to like start the memory game, just like as a group. You don't have to finish it, but like just try to get as close as possible to completion. All right. So I'll see you on next Sunday, where we will actually, let me share my screen. Let me just share my screen so you can know what to do as far as the curriculum. So what we should go through. So memory game is for Tuesday, and just do as much as possible. And y'all can honestly start at the completed code if y'all wanted to, and you get that obviously from memory game part 9, and just kind of like explain it through, or you can start from scratch. It's up to you, however y'all want to do it. And on Sunday we're gonna go through tic-tac-toe because tic-tac-toe is probably the longest code ever. Like it's really is the longest code, and we will do this the same way, where we'll like kind of like think out how we can create this, and we'll end up really creating this way different, like completely different than how it's created in the course. We'll attempt to do it that way, just to show a different way. All right, cool. Okay. So yeah, do memory game, and on Tuesday we'll do this on Sunday, and it's good to go through this video before Sunday, and also go through this video as well, whack-a-mole, before Sunday, because we're not going to go over this, but I want this to be out of the way. All right, cool. So I'll see you on Sunday.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, see ya.